Welcome to WTF is Web3, where we untangle the uncertainties of Web3 technologies. Be sure to check out the show notes for more information, giveaways, and ways to stay in touch. You're also going to want to make sure that you're subscribed to our podcast, our YouTube channel, and our private group so you don't miss out on exclusive content, freebies, and much more. All right, so we're talking Discord, and I've got my experience. I don't know how long you've been using Discord. I found it, at first, I still find it confusing. I'll be honest. I still find Discord confusing. It could be a bit more user-friendly, but
it's weird too because like the app and the desktop, you have different things that you can access, and you can't do everything from one, and it just doesn't really work good the other way. So there is not the best user interface for it.
Yeah, but it is like the hotbed for communities right now. I do like, and from my other business, my consultation brand, I had a Facebook group. And Facebook group was cool, but now I'm like super anti-Facebook. I like that it sounded good. What is that? Cracking beer?
That's crisp, right? Yeah. No, LaCroix. I'm not going to tell the listeners and viewers what day or time it is because they could be listening to this in the future in some sort of time capsule. So I don't want to date this, but it is a LaCroix, one of the most delicious variants of non-alcoholic seltzers.
Yeah. Now I'm anti-Facebook, so I've been trying to move my community. So I've got that perspective of running a community, and I've moved it to one platform, and there were some pros and cons with it. High friction of getting people there. That is one thing that's good about Facebook is everybody's got a Facebook app already on their phone. But Discord,
they use it or not. That's the thing, right? Because everyone has it, but it may have just been lost somewhere. They never actually downloaded the app. They have to go to their desktop to do it. So everyone has an account.
But what I like about Discord is once you get people on and once you overcome it's nice because now all companies, especially tech companies, they've all got Discord and they're able to segment the conversations. And that's one thing that I didn't have in Facebook or the other community, which was on Kajabi. I didn't have that segmentation. So if I wanted to, like with my other consultation, the other company is like consultation on delivery meal prep companies. So we have one channel that is for delivery, one is for production, one is for sales, one's for marketing, one's for, all these different segments. So those conversations are just being specifically in there. So if you're looking for that information, it should be relevant throughout those rooms, and then you'll have a general conversation. You'll see quickly on Discord, they don't stay to what the theme of that room is. They do get a little bit.
And with that, let's just back up a second too, and just I know we're just sort of talking about our experience and stuff, but let's just jump in and give a quick primer on what Discord is, right? So for those that are watching and listening, you may not even be too familiar with it. Discord is an application. It's essentially chat rooms. Like old school AOL chat room style, where it'll go in and it'll just be this time chronological. It's in real time. People are just going and adding to a conversation. So a bit like a text message, but it's all there segmented for these individual groups. And then, like you were saying, there's these little like sub chapters, these subtopics within that overarching group that whoever set it up, they try to set them to like certain topics within that greater topic. So one's just like the general conversation for anyone that happens to get that invite to that server is what they're called, those specific topics. So you have the servers, and that could be like a company, or it could be a project, an NFT project. It could be a startup. It could just be like a hobby group. They have their own. So let's say it's like East New Brunswick Bowling League. They could set up their own server on Discord, and they send out the invite. And then whoever wants to get in that conversation, doesn't even have to be people that are in the bowling league. It could just be people that are just curious about it and want to see if it's a cool
all right.
Group of
We
people.
get it. You're in a bowling league. Can we move on without the?
Yeah, I got to flex some more, man.
Yeah.
I got the ball. I got the wrist guard and East New Brunswick. It is intense. And so you can go in there and they'll set up the server and they'll preset these little subtopics, right, Casey? So like, what are some of the subtopics that you'll see that are very common?
Well, I mean, in the context in which we're discussing this, and just so if you're not familiar with Discord and you're new to Web3, this is something that's very common with basically all Web3 projects, whether it is a general crypto trading group, or I've seen stock trading groups, or specific to a specific project like a crypto crypto project. I'm in a miner. I'm in a few different cryptocurrency miner groups. I almost just said miner, and I really want to say cryptocurrency miner because you don't know how people can edit this stuff.
Yeah,
the Chilean miners. Yeah. And then NFT projects and things like that. So they'll have their specific Discords, and that. So if we had to put it in context, if we had an NFT and we wanted to build a community on Discord,
the community essentially is Discord. When people say the community,
yeah, for the most part, they also use Telegram. I'm not a big fan of Telegram. Telegram is nowhere near as organized. It's just like an endless chat room almost. And I know you can create whatever. It's nowhere near as good in my opinion. Discord's
more of a
free
messaging app than an actual community app to me.
Yeah,
and
I hate it when they're on.
There's debate on if it is that secure because of some of the overarching the location that it's based in and the potential risks there.
And Discord is supposed to be, I think, decentralized to an extent, but I don't really think that it fits. But anyway, the reason we're talking about it is because it's commonly used in these projects. And to give you some of the terms, the vernacular, if we created an NFT project or if we created a Discord for our podcast, that would be considered a server. And then within that server, the WTF is Web3 podcast server, there will be channels, and those channels are kind of like different chat rooms, and that's normally going to be divided based on a topic, or they'll have a certain subject matter. So
for like NFTs, access or anything like that.
Yeah,
and exclusive access to certain
exactly. And some of them will be exclusive to VIP members, or in the context of NFT, if you are a verified holder of that NFT, you'll be able to have access to a certain chat that the other people don't, or if there was a subscription. I'm in a crypto trading Discord, and there's 2 levels of subscription, and then there's the free chat. So there's certain channels that are unlocked to the free, like people who aren't, the leeches who aren't paying for anything. Then you have the VIP, and then you have like the Diamond Club, and VIP is like $40, Diamond's like 80 or whatever else. But I only have access to whichever ones I'm subscribed to. Or like I said, in the context of NFTs, you're able to have access to holder exclusive stuff. So there'll be holder exclusive content and information and links and all that other fun stuff. So I like that because it gives you, as a community, I don't want to say owner, but community runner, community whatever, owner, for lack of a better term. I appreciate the way Discord is divided and the way I'm able to put resources out there and kind of encapsulate conversations based on themes, so that then as a user, also having that perspective, I know it's easier when I'm looking for mint information, or there's some, like one of the ones I'm thinking of that's most recently been in, they've got a channel that is just for people to sell and trade NFTs between each other instead of going through OpenSea. And the idea behind that is,
which is pretty common for like project specific servers, so that you don't go into OpenSea and you give like the people that are already in the community the chance to buy and sell amongst themselves that actual project. That's really common. Are you talking more about like a trading group, so just general grab bag of NFTs or
no, exactly what you were saying. We're like, if you and I are owners of the same NFT group, either I'm looking to pick one up or maybe I'm looking to trade, and we can have that conversation. Whereas OpenSea doesn't really facilitate a communication medium back and forth. You're able to put a bid in for something that I have. And what sucks is I just recently learned this because I haven't been really active in OpenSea as far as putting in bids. I just thought it's like, it costs you money. Number one, 2 problems I have. I've got some, really grinds my gears.
All right. Get it off your chest, Casey.
Is the gas fees are ridiculous at certain times. They're just ridiculous. And then just to put in a bid, it costs you money. So I could put in a bid for your NFT on OpenSea, but it costs me money just to put that bid in.
Skin in the game, man. You got to know that you're actually meaningfully doing this and aren't just going out and blanketing it. I mean, it makes sense, but it is a hurdle.
And then the second thing,
you are a genuinely interested buyer and you want to get this out there, but you don't want to lose money, it sucks. But you realize why it makes sense, right? Because you have people that just go out and just blast people with it. And we'll get into some of the possible scams you can have of being able to blast that, because you could just try to lambast people with these bids, and they may make a couple of errors.
Yeah, and the other thing is the gas fees, and I understand the reason for it, but with OpenSea, it costs you money to put your NFT up for sale. Like you could have it listed there, but you don't have a sale. It doesn't have a buy now. And as a buyer, if I don't see that your thing's for sale, I'm not just going to blindly put a bid. You might be a long-term holder. I'm going to waste money. So it's like they have to get rid of some of the fees somewhere, because if I have to pay to list it with the potential of it expiring and me not being able to sell it, I have to pay to put a bid on it. That is like removes the incentive to, I mean, and then I also have to pay crazy gas fees. For instance, the other day I was trying to acquire an NFT, and at one point, what would have been the equivalent of a $204 NFT, the gas fees on that would have been $210 at one point. I saw them going all up and down. So I would have been paying $414 for a $204 NFT. So again, we go back to Discord and the trading channels. And one of the advantages is we're in the same Discord. Maybe you have one that we want to trade 1-for-1, and we could transfer them to each other, assuming there's some kind of trust that's been developed. This is always a very risky thing. Or I can send you money maybe through a cryptocurrency that OpenSea doesn't use, but you're willing to accept, and we can work out a side deal without me having to blindly bid. And it's so going back to Discord and not OpenSea, beating them up. They're obviously not a sponsor of the podcast. My tune will change if they. No, just kidding.
They're an anti-sponsor. We are here for all anti-OpenSea competitors. They have sponsored us as an aggregate.
One of which is nifties.com. They don't have a gas fee or anything else. They're on the XDAI network, the Palm network.
Yeah, they're different though. They're not a listing.
But you can buy it on Nifties and move it to OpenSea if you want, and you get more exposure on OpenSea.
All right. So let's get back to Discord. So starting from getting on Discord, when you get invited to these servers, and this is one of the issues. So you can't like really search for some of these servers.
That's what I hate. If you're on it, you can't search. It's hard for me to search for friends. It's really difficult.
The searching function is really crappy. Even if you're like within a channel to be able to search, you can, but it's weird. You gotta like search for like mentions or from. Or
but it's necessary. It could be better, but it
could be better.
Discord needs to improve, but it's better than other platforms for hosting a community.
It's very sticky. Yes. And so how you get started, you essentially get a link somewhere. So a lot of these projects will have their Discord link either in their Twitter, their Instagram, their actual website, or you'll have a friend that will send you the link and you'll get an invite to the Discord. Once you get invited, there's usually a little verification step, and it's something cheesy like, press out of the emojis below. You got to press this like clown or a robot
to make sure you're not a bot. They try to keep bots out, but that doesn't always work. There's still bots that get through.
But
it helps.
It's helpful. And then there is like some CAPTCHA, sometimes elements, maybe a verification. You have to be super careful though, that you are doing a legitimate step and you're not getting spam. So this is why I want to talk about the verification step, because initially when you get into a server, you are automatically set up to accept DMs from that server. And DMs is just what it sounds. It's direct message, just like any other social media or messaging service.
And that's where it goes down.
Yeah, that's where the wild stuff happens. And you will get blasted instantaneously in a lot of these servers, especially if they're a bigger community, by spam. It's rampant in there because this is sort of a new space and people aren't sure what they're doing and there's money involved. There's an incentive for spammers to just try to just take your money. And a really important step is turn off those DMs as soon as you get in a server.
Yeah, it's something these community people reach out to
you. Yeah, you should. You go up to the
top.
I
leave mine on because I know when they're scammers and I love wasting their time and messing with them. So when they ask for my address or anything like that, I'll send them like a physical address in Boca Raton. Obviously not my personal one, but they're asking for an Ethereum wallet address, and I'll give them like the Chipotle down the street, and they're just like that. No, they're like this idiot. But this is good because I've got a noob who doesn't know. So if I'm patient, I can get this guy's money. And no, you can't. And I just block you.
We should film those. I love watching those, messing with the scammer videos. There's some really good YouTube.
The audio is better. The back and forth through a message wouldn't be as good as satisfying, but
yeah. And so the verification process is a crucial step. It's kind of annoying, a lot of things. And then you can open up to all the channels. Generally, you'll just be limited to like this README and some of their terms of service and the little verification channel. Once you actually get through that is when you get access to all the channels that they have put out there. Some of them are read-only, some of them are announcements or just dates, events that they put out there. It's a really cool way to communicate with your community. It's a really cool way to start a community.
They also have streaming. So beyond just the chat, they have streaming where it could do an audio streaming, much like if you're familiar with Clubhouse or was it Twitter Spaces, where it's an audio kind of community event. But you could also do video streaming as well, which, to give you an example as to why you'd want to do that, the trading, the crypto trading group that I'm in, or groups, every once in a while they'll have a guy who's doing a tutorial on analytics and using all the chart trading, and they'll show you where the bounces are happening and what that means for Elliott waves or resistance lines or historical volume levels, stuff like that. So it's good to have a visual with that stuff above and beyond just going back and forth with chat and a bunch of GIFs, because that's another thing that is huge in that culture is GIFs. You got to get familiar with the vernacular, and I don't even know all of it, but like GM is good morning. Like let's go.
Casey, just want to back up for a second. You do remember I posted a TikTok on our TikTok going into great detail about the correct pronunciation of GIF, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You can.
And I'm still not going to capitulate. GIF.
Oh, GIF.
Just because he created it doesn't. So explain the backstory, I guess. If you're not following us on TikTok, by the way, we've got TikTok, we got a YouTube, we got a podcast. Just set up an Instagram for today. Follow us on all of it because there's going to be unique content on some. We're obviously going to do some incentives and giveaways that are only available on some, just to incentivize you to go over there, follow us, and build up the member base everywhere. But also TikTok's good because instead of listening or watching to a full podcast episode, we drop these little knowledge nuggets like. That's your cue, John.
Like Steve Wilhite. So Steve Wilhite was the creator of the graphic interchange, whatever the F stood for, the GIF
function.
I don't know. Who cares? So he died though. He died like a couple weeks ago in March of 2022, and he is famous for inventing it, but probably a little more famous because he has been beating the drum up until his demise for the correct pronunciation of the acronym GIF. And it is GIF.
But
that's it.
He's wrong. I think he's just doing that to piss people off. Like maybe he's like, in a GIF, like I think he's trying to go with that, but like graphic is a G. That's a hard G.
Doesn't matter.
Girl, graphic, grape, gorilla, G. It's GIF. He's wrong. And you know what? You go around pronouncing it GIF. That guy died. Not saying there's a correlation between what he was saying and his death, but like I'm not saying there's not. I can't prove that there's not. So GIF.
All right, we're not going down the conspiracy rabbit hole here. Bottom line, it's GIF. That's the way we're rolling. And and they are huge in the Discord communities. That and bots. The bots are pretty cool. There's some cool games too that you can go into some of these game channels.
Yeah.
But they are little chat rooms. It's an AOL chat room. That's exactly what it is. If you're our age, if you're like, a millennial, maybe a little older on the spectrum of millennials, you grew up with these AOL chat rooms and everyone thinks that this is like the newest thing and they think they're inventing this way to communicate with people and this little bit of an anonymity. That's an AOL chat room. They're in their ASLing it up.
Just more complex, and nothing new is nothing under the sun is new. And you know what? Next time I go into a Discord, I'm gonna drop an ASL. I'm gonna see if they and if you know what an ASL is, we got an idea as to how old you are.
Oh yeah, you just dated yourself. ASL it up, and what's nice though is you can change your avatar super frequently. You can change your name very frequently. So a lot of times you'll do that with whatever project you're supporting. If it's an NFT project you're getting involved in, maybe early in the mint, you're trying to get on the whitelist. Well, whitelist, we'll talk about that. But if you're trying to get on the whitelist, you'll take a sample of some of their future projects, a sneak peek, and maybe add the name of the project to your handle as well, just to show that you're involved in that. It just shows that you're like really into that project and you're on board. And you do that to help build that community early on, and to show that you're interested in it, that you'll actually be involved after mint and stay a part of that community. But Casey, what's a whitelist? Which is something that's big in projects, and it's also really important for the Discord communities.
So a whitelist is basically when you're able to get in on the pre-public sale of an NFT, cryptocurrency. It's basically you showing that you're an early supporter, an early believer, and sometimes it just gives you early access and you pay the same price as public. And frequently it allows you to get a discount. So for instance, they might be saying, all right, when we go for mint, this project is going to cost 1 Ethereum, but for everyone who's on the whitelist, you're going to be able to buy it. Yeah, I mean,
that's a hefty mint.
That's my flex. That's the kind of stuff I mess with. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But just to use round numbers, it's 1 Ethereum for public. But if you're able to, if you join the whitelist, you're going to get it at 0.8. So you're going to get a nice 20% discount. Now, to get on the whitelist, there's a myriad of different ways. A lot of times they want you to do something to show that you're committed to the community. It could be some of the easier stuff would be like John just mentioned, you'd be changing your icon to one of the preview graphics of the NFTs. It could be you have to invite a certain amount of people to the Discord community. It could be reposting something on their Twitter or following their Twitter, something like that that's helping them. And again, look from the business perspective. I want to build this community. I want to make it better, bigger. I want the people who are involved in saying that they're committed in exchange for early access and or a discount. I want them to do something that's going to build value and bring more eyeballs to this project, so we're able to sell more. It's going to be more successful, and hopefully everybody wins.
Yeah, and a cool thing about Discord is there's a built-in way to help quantify your involvement, and that's like your XP levels. So this is also another barometer that a lot of times these communities and projects will use to determine your whitelist ability. And so that is based on your interaction on the Discord.
Yeah.
So based on the number of posts you do, what you do if you're commenting, if you're just involved, that goes up and it scales. And so you'll reach this level, and that's determined by whoever created that server. And that will just keep going and going and going. And not only is that used a lot of times to see if you can get on the whitelist, but also to get access to certain tiers, like Casey was saying, within that greater community. Because this doesn't have to be an NFT based thing. This can be any sort of community. It just happens to be adopted by this like Web3 NFT and crypto community really, really strongly. And that level aspect, it makes sense because you're literally looking at how involved they are and how much they're talking, how much they're interacting. And so it's a really cool way to, number one, keep track of it. So you can go as yourself and check and see how involved you are. And number two, reward those people and incentivize them to be involved in the community. And the more you're involved, the more value you're adding, and maybe the more value you get out of the project itself.
And that's another way to, what I've seen that used as, just a recent project I was thinking about is, and they just announced this, the Matrix Avatar NFT project by Nifty's, which I'm involved in their Discord, and they've got one of the largest, they've got the largest Discord I've ever seen. They just made an announcement the other day through the, I forget what the Discord live audio thing is called. They've got a name for it, but it escapes me. But one of the announcements they made is they are going to be giving you XP that you can apply to your avatars or your NFTs to increase their value based on your engagement in the community. And then also as you level up, you're able to gain access to hidden channels. So by level up, I mean, let's say that I'm creating a community, and as soon as someone posts 10 times, I'm going to move them to level 1. As soon as they post 20 times, they move to level 2. As soon as they post 50 times, they move to level, and I get to set it. And I could also make it so that, just posting an image or a GIF, does that count as one of the posts that I want, or do I want to just be something that's in text? Do I want it to be responses to other people? So that would be indicative of like maybe someone put a question in the group and they're like, hey, how do we do this? Or when is the mint date? And then you're going to be a helpful community member helping the mods and the staff who might not get to that question right away, and then you're responding, and I could be counting those type of interactions towards your experience. And that's what they do, because again, as a community builder, I want this to start running itself. I don't want to be in there answering every single question. I can't hire a bunch of mods, and there's only so many volunteer mods, and when this is going 24 hours a day, depending on the time zones, I've got this limitation of how good the quality of the information, and the faster your question is answered, the better you feel about the group. So there's all these incentives for me as a community builder to make sure that the people are having the best experience, but I can't be everywhere at once. I can't be in all the channels. So that's where these kind of incentives for the leveling up will, bring people in to help them, be a good guy. That's another phrase, like good guy kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Everyone's very helpful too. I mean, that's the idea behind it, right? That community is everyone's on board. Everyone's really optimistic, maybe a little too optimistic at times, because people are trying to get on the good sides of the creators. And
too hypey, it gets a little corny sometimes.
It gets tough to ask real questions. And I know that's something that you've been kind of struggling with, is going in and figuring out some of these projects, trying to be critical and asking positively critical. You're not going and bashing a project, but you're just curious about some of
doing my due diligence. Yeah,
exactly.
It ends
up
up
being so many fanboys that are just like, no, this is the project, and just believe in it. To the moon, baby, to the moon.
And they assume that they'll take anyone who is questioning anything as someone who's like a naysayer. Or so, for instance, and I'm not going to say the project, but I just wanted to know, they had all these lofty promises. Hey, we're going to do a metaverse casino. And I've seen a few projects that are doing metaverse casinos. Some already have the metaverse casino like in Decentraland. So it's okay. I buy it. You've got an ability to execute. You've already got the casino. It's functioning. I believe it. But these other projects are switching from, hey, if you buy this NFT, you're going to belong to this DAO. This DAO acquires Bored Apes and these other things, and we're going to vote on whether or not we're going to buy and sell. If you don't know what a DAO is, we've got episodes on that. But basically, short version is, it's a group deciding to do some kind of activity or objective. In this case, if you buy this NFT, you own a percentage of this group. We're going to contribute the funds to buying more valuable NFTs that have more notoriety, like Bored Apes and yada, yada, yada. So one of the questions I had was, where can I see any kind of legal document or verification that shows?
This was in the Discord, right? You're asking.
This was in the Discord. And I was trying to say, like, I had to start making a paragraph to preface the fact that, hey, I'm new. I'm just trying to get this information. I don't know where to find it. If you could point me in the right direction, yada, yada, yada. And then the question. Because when I just asked the question, I would just start getting bombardments of like people talking about, oh, I look at hundreds of NFT projects before I get into them, and this one's the best one. If you can't see the value in it, you don't know what you're doing or whatever else. And it's like, dude, just if the answer is legit, point me in the right direction or give me the answer. Couldn't find any documentation to back up the claim that me spending money to buy your NFT gave me a share of this Bored Ape or CryptoPunk or any of this other stuff that you bought. And then they also switched down the line to saying, hey, we've also decided, aside from just buying up other NFTs, we're also going to create a casino for the metaverse. Keep on buying our NFTs and you'll have a share of the casino as well. And it's like, great. Why can't I go onto your website and see the real identities of your team? It's like, oh, they're fully doxed. If you go, there's articles that, tell you the identity of this person. There's other websites and projects that you could see this person on. You could see this person's LinkedIn. It's like, okay, you're telling me to go to all these other places, not giving me links or not saying anything specific, but like just on your website, you've got fake names or pseudonyms and then a logo, or like instead of that person's real picture, it's a profile picture of some other NFT. So I don't know who these people are. I can't prove that they are capable of doing what they want to do. We'll get into that in another episode, but that's one thing. Going back to Discord, be careful because there are some heavily invested people who don't want anything that looks like criticism or naysaying or skepticism or cynicism or any of those isms.
That animosity is a big pro and con of Discord. because everyone, again, is for the most part a PFP, a profile photo as their avatar. Very rarely is it someone's actual photo. I think even if it is a human photo, it's probably not their real photo. It's probably a lot of, the 50, 60-year-old dudes hanging out there pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the cool thing about it too, is you do have these anonymous people. They could be anybody. It could be Steph Curry in there. It could be Tim Duncan. It could be Michael Jordan. It could be Tom Brady. You could have actors. All these people are involved in these things, and they're in these communities, but they're anonymous. So you have people from all across the world, different ages, different geographies, different genders, different demographics. So it's a cool way to talk to people, but just be careful of who you're talking to, and sort of approach everything with a grain of salt and maybe a little bit of incredulity. Am I saying that right, Casey? Incredulity?
It was in my head, yes. Right when you start saying it, I was like, it's in my head. Incredulity, yes.
All right. Just approach everything.
Incredulous. Use big words.
That's an easier way to say it.
Be
careful when you go in there, and just take everything with a grain of salt. It's a great way to get some information. Really believe everything on its face value. Like everything, do your own due diligence. Use it as a launching off point. But to get the information and share it and spread it and just learn about it, great platform.
And get used to Discord, because more and more opportunities are going to be there, as well as risks and scams. But to really be involved and vet these communities and really get a taste of what level they're at, how positive they are, what the level of engagement is, what kind of momentum they have, what plans they have, they're always going to be sending this information to their Discord first, because that's where the most supportive people are. Makes sense, right? So that wraps it up. I think for Discord, put a cork in it, or whatever the term is. Fork in it.
A thumb. Put the old thumb in it.
Put a cork in it. Where did I get that? Put a fork in it. Put a thumb up it. All the way up to the wrist. Like, follow, subscribe. YouTube. We're doing an NFT giveaway. Find the contact form. All sorts of giveaways. Probably going to be doing a giveaway for a miner. Cryptocurrency miner. Not a child.
Giving away Chileans.
Or Chilean. And I should have always, as always, I mentioned this too late. Should have mentioned it in the beginning. But yeah, thanks. Rock on.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to make sure you don't forget to check out the information and the links in the show notes. Some of that stuff is going to get you into freebies and raffles and contests and all sorts of other promotions. But also, we've got a private group dedicated to our listeners and our followers. We would love to see you there. Love to see you collaborate, join, and get exclusive content that we are only distributing through these other means. Speaking of distributing through other means, I want to make sure that you're also subscribed to our podcast, our YouTube channel, and again, join that private group so you know everything that we know as soon as we know it.